Hi there. It's been a really tough week for me and for all trans people this week, and particularly trans women. I've been wanting to make this video for a few days, but I found it really difficult um, because as well as doing lots of media interviews, I've just felt totally bewildered, depressed and emotional. I've been doing a lot of crying this week, and I don't mind admitting that. It's been so tough, and the reason for that is that you've probably seen it's been plastered all over the newspapers and all over the media everywhere about a ruling in the Supreme Court in the UK, which ruled in favour of the anti-trans group For Women Scotland in their case against the Scottish government, and they ruled that the meaning of the word sex within purely the Equality Act 2010 meant biological sex, even though there's actually no legal definition of biological sex. And the thing is, biology covers everything, the whole body, including the brain. And basically, what they meant was that in terms of biological sex, meaning the sex that a person is assigned at birth, based purely on the appearance of their genitalia at birth. They actually said that that sex is binary, which is biologically wrong because 1.7% of the population is intersex. So, which is about the same number of people who've got ginger hair. So, it's not an insignificant number of people, and so they've ignored that. What a lot of the anti-trans campaigners have said is that it's changed the definition of a woman. Well, it hasn't done that. It has absolutely not done that. It's just changed that definition of sex within that particular act. That's all it's done. It's not going to protect any women at all. No women are going to be protected by this one bit. What it will do is stir up a lot of hate. And it won't just stir up hate for trans people. It will stir up a lot of hate for trans people, and particularly trans women. But it won't just do that. Because lots of my friends are cisgender, that means non-trans, but butch lesbians, so they have a much more masculine appearance. And they get a lot of hate, and they get challenged a lot when they use the ladies' loos, for instance. And I think that's what's going to happen. When you saw a lot of those people that were celebrating on the steps of the court and popping those champagne corks, many of those women had a very masculine appearance, and I wouldn't mind betting that they're going to find themselves challenged an awful lot more when they try to use the ladies' loos now. But also, the other thing that they didn't really think about is if they're saying that sex can't be changed and that that's what has to be used in terms of using female facilities, well, that means that trans men will have to use the ladies' loos. Now, most trans men are indistinguishable from cisgender men. So, because they with the testosterone they're on, they grow facial hair, their voices deepen, they grow muscles, they often work out a lot and they have six packs and everything, and so they look very, very masculine. And so I don't think many women are going to feel that much safer by seeing a load of trans men coming in to use the ladies' loos, are they? I mean, think about it. Yeah, because a lot of service providers are going to be panicking now and thinking, well, we've got to change our policies or whatever. I'm going to come to that in a minute. But I think actually a lot of them might end up doing is actually just providing more and more gender-neutral facilities now, which, to be honest, let's face it, is better anyway. It's much more inclusive of everyone. But I think we're going to see that, and a lot of these anti-trans hate groups don't want those. So I think we're going to see more of those facilities anyway. But what I'd like to say is that the Equality Act 2010, the law itself, has not changed. It has not changed at all. It was just that one little definition. So if you are a service provider and you're thinking about rushing out and changing your policies about facilities for women, please think very carefully before you act, because you may inadvertently end up breaking the law, even when you think you're trying to comply with it. Because the Equality Act 2010 has always allowed for discrimination of trans people in certain circumstances. so that it allows it as long as it's a proportionate means to achieve a legitimate aim. That means that whatever you do, it's got to be for a legitimate thing, and it's got to be a proportionate thing. So that means blanket bans and blanket rules won't work. It won't stand up in court. So if you do that sort of thing, you'll be breaking the law, basically. So be very, very careful about that. And I think we'll probably see quite a lot of test cases coming up to prove this. Also, if you were to change your policies, how would it be enforced anyway? How would you stop trans women from using women's loos anyway? It's impossible, because how do you know if someone's trans? Well, are you going to know by their voice or by their appearance? Well, yes, I've got a deep voice, but I know lots of cisgender, not so non-trans women who've got deeper voices than mine because they've been chain smokers for the last 30 years. So that's not going to work. By their appearance, no, you're not going to necessarily know about that, because look at my butch lesbian friends who have got much more masculine appearance. You're not going to tell by that. Okay, let's look at passports, driving licenses. No, you're not going to know by that. Birth certificates. No, you're not going to know by that, because some trans people have changed their birth certificates. And how are you going to know whether it's the original one they've had or the updated one? You're not going to know. And a birth certificate isn't a valid form of ID anyway. There is no way of knowing. So what we're going to do, we're going to have the genital inspection police at the entrances to the loos now, are we? I don't think that many people would be very happy about that. And in any case, for trans women who've had lower surgery anyway, their genitalia looks exactly the same as cisgender women's anyway. So there is no way of telling, and there is no way of enforcing this. The whole thing is ludicrous. I want to talk about the judgment now. So the judgment, it was judged by 5 non-trans judges, and they heard evidence. They only heard half the evidence. They heard evidence from lots of anti-trans hate groups, but they didn't hear evidence from a single trans person, not a single trans person. So they've only heard half the evidence. So how could those 5 cisgender judges come to a qualified judgment? It's impossible. This should go to appeal and go to the European Court of Human Rights. There are plans for that to happen, and I hope it does happen. It really does. It needs funding, so please look out the Good Law Project, because they're trying to do this, and I hope they succeed. And please don't donate them lots of money. They need it. We need it. We really do. And also Lord Hodge, who was heading up this, he said that this judgment will not affect trans women. Well, I'm here to say that it has affected us, and it does affect us deeply. And if I've been crying about it, I mean, I think I'm one of the more resilient trans people. And if it's affected me like this, then you can bet it's going to be affecting the anxiety levels of a lot more of my trans friends. Well, I know it has, because I've been supporting them all this week. I've been supporting lots of my friends this week. And I'd like to say a huge thank you to all the people who've been supporting me this week. And every time I get a lovely message, it's been making me cry, to be honest. It's been really touching. You've been keeping me going, so you're going to set me off in a minute. So thank you so much. Stay strong to all my trans friends. We will get through this. We've fought for. We just got to keep fighting. What else can we do? We've got to. And for any cisgender, so non-trans women, this is when we really need you to stand up and let the world know that you support trans women and you're happy for us to share your spaces with you, because we don't mean anyone any harm. As I always say, trans people are just ordinary people who want to be happy, and that's all it is. Anyway, I'm going to close for now, but thanks for listening.